visionary, revolutionary. I'm a visionary, revolutionary.
What's going on, everyone? It's KB, the motherfucking Mark, and I'm here with the most stupendous co-host of all time, Camille Salamander, and we're here to discuss part 2 of the podcast, the weekend of the most stupendous WrestleMania of all time. But before we jump into it, Camille Salamander, as I always do, how you doing?
I'm doing McMarvelous, man. It's the biggest weekend of all time. We have so many wrestling events to fucking talk about. So much wrestling happened this week. I think this is the most wrestling that we had ever, or at least in my lifetime I experienced. This is the most wrestling I experienced. Like, it was so much. Like it was so much. Like they try to overdose us with so much fucking wrestling. But
yes, they did.
I loved it.
I loved it too. Hey, remember when Pat McAfee did all the synonyms to the word stupendous?
Yes.
Remember when I told you that I had you?
Yes.
Salamander, this WrestleMania was stupendous. And the synonyms for the word stupendous: amazing, astounding, marvelous, astonishing, phenomenal, breathtaking, smashing, superb, fabulous, fantastic, tremendous, wondrous, monumental, mind-blowing, terrific, radical, colossal, dynamite, staggering. And WrestleMania was all of that wrapped into one word: stupendous.
You know, WrestleMania, this is one of the best WrestleManias in, like, since, like, I said about like 31, maybe 33. And it over delivered. I will say that. It didn't under deliver. It didn't deliver. It over delivered.
This is probably one of the best WrestleManias I've ever seen. Yes,
and I will by far say, you know, I'm not a fan of the 2-night shit. I would rather sit up and watch a 6-hour WrestleMania pay-per-view with premium live event. I would rather much sit and watch that over watching a 2-night event, because to me, now you think otherwise, but to me, ever since they started doing it, I think night 2 never lives up. It's always night 1 has all the hype behind it. Night 2, it don't live up until it get close to like that co-main event and then the main event. Then that's what we be hype the first match to open it. Just depending on what opens. If it open with some bullshit, we hype. Then we see there's some bullshit. Then we're like, fuck it. And then it be the co-main event and then the main event that we get hyped for. But other than that, the whole show be like, low key, I was on my phone checking Twitter.
Yeah, this night 2 wasn't as good as last year's night 2, and I know me and you have had plenty of discussions about that. I feel like last year's night 2 was good. It wasn't better than night 1, but I feel like since they just started the 2-day thing, I'm gonna give it a little bit more time. I'm gonna give it a couple more years, because I feel like they're starting to get it right with night 2, slowly but surely.
I don't think so. They had it right before. They kept underestimating themselves with as many matches that they moved from night 2 to back to night 1. They back from night 1 to night 2, then they moved it back to night 1. Like Edge and AJ Styles, that would have been a perfect match on night 2. That would have been, good. That we would have loved. Well, it was on night 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say, I think that was night 2.
I was like, they moved it to night 1. And that's what it was. It was on night 2, then they moved it to night 1, then they moved it back to night 2. But Seth Rollins and, we already know, Cody Rhodes, that segment was originally meant for night 2, but they moved it to night 1. Now, night 1 was good, but I think if you take that and move that match to night 2 and what happened, they would have made night 2 on night 1 level. The night 1 was good regardless.
I agree, but we'll discuss it more. Salamander gave you guys a spoiler, but we'll go ahead and jump into the first pay-per-view of the weekend. We had Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor. This would not win my pay-per-view of the weekend.
Yeah, it's not, but
it was good.
It was good, but I would say this: it was heavily influenced by AEW. A lot of AEW talent was in there. Um, I kind of expected more because this was like the go home last pay per view of Ring of Honor. I expected more Ring of Honor talents, but I kind of see why they did that. But the thing, I'm gonna save everything for the ending because I want to talk about the ending.
Gotcha. So we're going to start off with the pre-show first. We're just going to breeze through the pre-show. Colt Cabana defeated Blake Christian. That's Cora Jade's boo, or her fiance. Sorry, I don't want to say boo. They're
Cora Jade on NXT.
Yes, she is. AQA defeated Miranda Elise. The Gates of Agony, Khan and Toa Leona, they defeated Shinobi Shadow Squad, Eli Isom and Cheeseburger, and Dalton Castle defeated Joe Hendry. Jumping into the main card, we had Swerve Strickland, and he defeated Alex Zane. I told you off camera that Alex Zane is very good. If you've never seen anything of Alex Zane, please go watch. He's fucking fantastic. The Poison Rana to the outside, that's all I needed to see from Alex Zane to just like, I've seen Alex Zane in the past, but that spot there, that's a crazy spot, and it could go all types of wrong. But he's a professional, and he pulled it off. What did you think of the match?
The match, it was cool. Isaiah Strickland, he proved me. He's proven me that he's actually is good in the ring, because I haven't really seen much of him. I seen a few of his, like the first match I seen of him was when he lost to Carmelo Hayes. That was the first match I seen of his, and then on the main roster we seen how that went, and then now seeing him now. So I really haven't seen that much of him like that, but this match was good for what I saw.
Next up, we had a returning Brian Cage. He joined the Tully Blanchard Enterprise along with Khan and Toa Leona, and he defeated Ninja Mac. What do you think about Brian Cage with Tully Blanchard? I thought the match did his job to put over Brian Cage. He looks good. He looks to be in fantastic shape. But I think this could be a top heel in Ring of Honor with Brian Cage, especially with Tully Blanchard leading him. But what do you think about this?
It's good, but I had my hopes for Brian Cage making that jump to WWE.
He still might.
I really had it. I mean, he might not if this seems to go good. And let's say they do put him on Ring of Honor and they get him, like, because we already know Ring of Honor gonna get a televised showing for the first time ever. Not for the first time ever, but they're gonna be on a big brand ever for like a major TV program. So they're gonna put, if Brian Cage get on there and they let him run havoc over there, I think he might fuck around and stay.
Really?
There's a chance. But now, it's not all about, because like I said, we according to the ratings, everybody don't tune into Rampage like that. Dynamite is really the eye catcher show. So now they're bringing in Rampage. I mean, not Rampage, but Ring of Honor. It's a chance that Ring of Honor being a secondary show, how SmackDown is to Raw. It's a chance that that's going to be bringing in the same amount of viewers that Dynamite does. So that means they can actually split the talent that's not on Dynamite. They can split the talent now and give each talent equal television time, which is something that a lot of people complain about when it comes to AEW.
No, I agree. And me and you both came up with that same point, especially with the next person that was in the next match. We had Jay Lethal, and he beat Lee Moriarty with underhanded tactics. He hit a low blow on Lee Moriarty and hit the lethal injection for the win. It makes sense. I love the continuity. He cut the promo on Dynamite after he lost to Moxley. He went against Moxley this week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he cut the promo after he lost to Moxley, stating that he's got to do something different. And Lee Moriarty gave him a run for his money. I'm really big on Lee Moriarty. I think he could be TNT champion in about 16 months. He's putting it together, surely. But Jay Lethal said he had to do something different. And I like it. And like you just said, Jay Lethal is known as the franchise, so he might not be getting time on AEW, but guess what? He just looks like we're about to get a heel Lethal. We could put him over there back in Ring of Honor, and he could go ahead and beef with Jonathan Gresham for that Ring of Honor title. And go ahead.
I would really love Jay Lethal to be lined up with Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson.
You never know. He might. You never know. I think he's got just the tenure in the wrestling business alone, and I think he's a hell of a wrestler. We have our first championship match: Mercedes Martinez versus Willow Nightingale for the interim Ring of Honor Women's Championship, currently being held by Deonna Purrazzo. Mercedes Martinez got the win. Now, you know me, Salamander, I've told you I'm very high on Willow Nightingale. I would have loved for Tony Khan to take a chance and put the belt on her, but I think he's setting up for probably a Mercedes Martinez versus Deonna Purrazzo at Double or Nothing.
Deonna Purrazzo is making a jump to AEW, which is very surprising. I really am wondering, because we have reported that Tony Khan is in talks with Deonna Purrazzo, but she's still under contract with Impact. So I'm wondering how that's gonna work. If they gonna work with each other, he gonna buy the contract out, or they gonna come to an understanding, or it's gonna be a talent for a talent. I got one of yours, you got one of mine.
Well, you know, now that you say it like that, I think the bigger match here is Britt Baker versus Deonna Purrazzo, and I find it kind of funny that she's not coming back until they're in Pittsburgh. So what if she goes to Pittsburgh and, you know, she still has beef with Mercedes Martinez, and she's like, Mercedes, I see you got a championship now. You're the interim Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Put that on the line against me. And she wins, and at Double or Nothing, we get Deonna Purrazzo versus Britt Baker. And we could, for the unified ROH Women's World Championship. That's a money match. But depending on what you do, that could be an argument for a main event.
I think it's about time for a women's main event for a women match to main event at AEW pay-per-view.
Yes.
It's about time already.
Yes, and I think Britt Baker versus Deonna Purrazzo for the undisputed Ring of Honor Women's World Championship, I think that's a main event worthy match.
Not even that. Britt Baker, if it's gonna be a women's main event match at a pay-per-view, it has to be Britt Baker. She has to be involved in it. Like, it don't matter who she go up against. I don't care if it's Britt Baker or Jade Cargill or whoever. Britt Baker, she's in there.
Right. Coming up next, what I thought was match of the weekend: FTR, Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler versus the Briscoes, Jay and Mark Briscoe, for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Now, before I continue, I will put over Salamander. He did state that we had covered earlier about a Warner Media person not wanting the Briscoes in AEW. And like Salamander said, if they're going to get a big TV deal, the Briscoes probably aren't going to be there. And it kind of raised the question in my mind, would the Briscoes lose? This match was fucking fantastic. What a way to go out by the Briscoes. FTR are the new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. I just hate it had to come down like that. I feel like not seeing the Briscoes at Ring of Honor, it would be the equivalent of like not seeing Roman in the WWE. Mm-hmm. They've just been a staple of Ring of Honor for so long, and I hate that the purchase of the Ring of Honor purchase by Tony Khan, it kind of seems like it put him out, because Tony Khan wants to get Ring of Honor on TV, but the Warner Media person, like you said, they got to be pretty high up if they're pulling strings like this. Yeah. They don't want them there.
Y'all was saying I was already in talks, so I'm the WWE.
Do you see Vince using them, Mark?
No. They're going to use them as like the bushwhackers. But at least they be on TV.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. But what did you think of the match? Like I said, I said this to you off camera. It won't be match of the year. It'll be in the match of the year contention of matches overall. But I don't think you're going to get a better tag team match all year than this one, unless the Bucks and the FTR show out tonight. Spoiler, the Young Bucks came out super kicked the Briscoes, and it set up the Ring of Honor World Tag Team title match on tonight's Dynamite. What did you think of the match, and what do you think about this match? What do you think about this match? Like I said, this will probably be the best tag team match of the year.
I mean, it was cool, but I'm looking more forward to the Young Bucks versus FTR. I like that feud that they had when FTR first came to AEW, and I don't mind them running it back because it's kind of different because it's for a different title, and plus that title means something to the Young Bucks as well. So I'm more interested in that.
Understandable. Next up, Minoru Suzuki defeated Rhett Titus for the Ring of Honor World Television Championship. It was over as quick as it started. An extended squash. Minoru Suzuki got the win. I'm not surprised though. Minoru Suzuki is a hard hitter.
I see why not. Why? Like, I don't know. I feel like why put this on? I mean, it was a squash match. I feel like for a go home pay-per-view, it didn't need it. It didn't need no squash matches. I say every match should go to this. Leave it all in the ring of honor. Not like, well, that's pun intended, but just leave it all in the ring. A few seconds also won't fly together again because they names so happen to be Ring of Honor. Leave it all in the ring. 4. I don't know. I'll confuse myself. But do it all in the honor for ROH, I would say. Because I ain't going to say the whole name. I'm going to get myself confused again. But, yeah.
Nah, I see what you mean. Like, it's...
So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, basically the same thing that we always talked about with the SummerSlam booking of Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. The match, we're not mad at the results. We were just mad at how it happened. You could have gave us 20 minutes and we wouldn't have batted an eye.
Right.
So, no, I definitely agree. They should have gave this a little bit more time. But maybe Tony Khan just wanted to put over Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, could be. He did knock Bryan Danielson
out cold. Or maybe he's just that great of a fucking seller.
I don't know. He seemed pretty out. When your body go limp, yeah.
That guy, Wheeler Yuta, that we were talking about in in part 1, where I said he had a hell of a week. Mm-hmm. He would go on to beat Josh Woods to win the Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling Championship. I love the Pure Wrestling Championship aspects, the rules of it. It really stands out from a normal wrestling match with the 3 rope breaks, and then you can't use the rope break anymore. Closed fist gets you disqualified. It really just goes to show you who's a real technician in the ring. And continuity again from Tony Khan, really showcasing why Wheeler Yuta needs to be in the Blackpool Fight Club. He put on a hell of a technical match here with Josh Woods. And I think if I'm Lord Regal, he's got to come on in. He's got a belt, and it's a Pure Wrestling Championship belt. Danielson and Lord Regal wouldn't just associate with nobody. They wouldn't just associate with anybody. I think on this week's Dynamite, Wheeler Yuta needs to be accepted. And I hope he comes out with the Ring of Honor with the Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling Championship, and they accept him into the group.
I know Tony Khan, he would do so much great shit for that title. With that aspect of it, every time, like, even if the title not on the line, if you hold that title, you in a regular matchup, you should still go by them rules.
Yes.
If you're in that division, all the matches, people in that division go by them rules. Or just say, fuck it, make it the rules. They haven't bring a new aspect to wrestling. Like, people know Dynamite, you on AEW, Dynamite, whatever, you step foot, cross over to not AEW, but Ring of Honor, like, all right, these are different rules. So, kind of adjust to it and all that shit like that, too. So, I do like that, because it brings the strategy out in wrestling of when to use your rope breaks at the proper time. So I like that, and I know Tony Khan can do a lot of shit with that. Just that.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just gonna say I like your idea. If you're going against and it doesn't matter if you're in AEW or Ring of Honor. If you're going, because then this will also make Tony Khan really dig down deep to find those diamonds in the rough who could be in that pure wrestling division.
All right.
But I feel like if you're going against Wheeler Yuta or anybody who holds the Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling Championship, you wrestle by their rules, whether it's a title match or not. You wrestle by those rules. I like that. I like how you said that.
Or they just have a division like, the cruiserweight division. Like, how, on Raw, when they used to do it when the cruiserweight wrestle, they'll turn the shit purple, the lights purple or whatever. Like, some shit like that. Like, and when it's that division, dim the lights, make it dark or whatever, and then boom, because souls focus on the wrestling, it's technical. And do some shit like that, and then be their rule. So, anytime the lights dim, they making their entrance, alright, we in this division, so we might get the interesting part of wrestling.
Right, no, I definitely agree. We have the main event, Jonathan Gresham versus Bandito for the undisputed Ring of Honor World Championship. Jonathan Gresham got the win. He was confronted by a heel Jay Lethal, who him and his friend Sanjay Dutt started to beat up Jonathan Gresham, who was then a returning Samoa Joe to Ring of Honor. The first prodigal son of the weekend returned home. This was a great, I said in part one, Salamander, iconic images. That's an iconic image of Samoa Joe walking out with the towel, and he's back home in Ring of Honor.
Right, where it all started at. I would say Tony Khan had no choice but to put on a fucking great show on Dynamite, Rampage, and this Ring of Honor Supercard, because not AEW, but WWE had this shit packed. So he had no choice but to do what he did. I like that he did appear at Ring of Honor, but what if he appeared at Dynamite or Rampage, one of them shows, it didn't appear at Ring of Honor?
I feel like it would have lost its impact if he had debuted. Yeah, because if he would have came back on Dynamite, then you would have been like, that thought would have been in the back of your mind, like, oh, he might show up at the Ring of Honor show then. But with him showing up at the Ring of Honor show, you're like, the iconic image of Samoa Joe coming back home, and that wasn't the only homecoming we got. But I will say the second one was better. Salamander, what do you give Ring of Honor Supercard of Honor? I'm gonna give it a 9. That FTR Briscoes match was top notch.
I'm gonna give it an 8. Solid 8.
Solid 8. Gotcha. We are moving on to our first of 3 premium live events, starting off with NXT Stand and Deliver. Salamander, I was on Twitter. Couldn't help but be on Twitter the entire weekend, and I saw a lot of people hating on the theme music because it's rap. It's not wrestling. It's not a metal song, so it's not a wrestling song. I like the song, and I like how it went with the theme of NXT Stand and Deliver.
I don't see why not. It don't matter what genre, whatever headline the wrestling show or make the pay-per-views or just the shows in general is. It's always going to end up being catchy by the time the premium live event airs. So it really don't matter. Like, I'm pretty sure people feel the same way when SmackDown and Raw came out with their first themes, and it was like, but then by the 4th or 5th week, it grew on you. Like, it really don't matter. Anyway, by the time the show come on, I'll be singing along with it. So it don't matter.
Yeah, I thought it wasn't that serious, and I thought, and I mean, I don't see why people were upset because Wale is the theme song to NXT 2.0. So you can tell this is where they're trying to go. They're trying to attract the younger audience.
It probably don't, because Wale, we already know he's a big, wrestling mark himself. So that's probably why they don't complain about that. I don't know.
I mean,
Maybe I'm reaching.
I don't know either. I went and actually listened to the song, and I actually liked the song for the most part. And I looked up the lyrics, and I felt the lyrics really fit the entire theme of NXT 2.0. So I like the song. We are on the kickoff show. NXT Women's Tag Team Championships are on the line. Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez against Toxic Attraction, and Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez got the win. We're going to cover later on in the week. We're going to cover the actual week of wrestling that we're in. But now that I've seen what I've seen, this was god awful, and there was no reason to do this.
Exactly. But I actually didn't see this match. I didn't tune in until like 2. So I ain't see the kickoff show, and I missed some of the first match.
You're good. I mean, it had a weird start time.
Yeah.
Like 1 o'clock on a Saturday.
It did.
But moving on, we had the NXT North American Championship ladder match. Cameron Grimes, Carmelo Hayes, Grayson Waller, Santos Escobar, and Solo Sikoa. Cameron Grimes got the win and is your new NXT North American champion. I love this ladder match. I love that Cameron Grimes got the win. He was definitely deserving. He's put in a lot of work since he had his feud with LA Knight and the $1 Million Championship. I always felt like Cameron Grimes, they were going to get to him eventually, especially when they had him clean up his beard and everything. You kind of knew they were trying to get him ready for championship gold, and they wanted him to look the part of a champion, which that is something that, especially in WWE, presentation is 90% of WWE. So you got to look the part. I was very happy he got the win. Grayson Waller, he's a future star. Elbow drop off the ladder, shattered his elbow. Sold it like a champ. Everybody did good. I just wasn't a fan of all of the outside interference, but it is a ladder match, so I guess I shouldn't be complaining too much. I feel like with all of the shenanigans they had on the outside, it kind of took away from what the wrestlers were doing in the match itself.
Yeah, it can be. I was really going for Solo Sikoa, but I honestly think he main roster ready. I think slap him with the bloodline. I am playing like a on-screen muscle, but don't get him in the ring yet. But just have him play. He could be the person that come out and help the Usos and Roman retain. Referee distraction from the Usos. He sneak in, super kick, Roman spear, 1, 2, 3. Usos match, referee distracted some way, somehow he comes in, super kick, Uso splash, 1, 2, 3.
Nah, I can see that. All the other times you were saying just throw him in there and put a championship on him. I'm like, nah, that ain't it.
Then by the time you ready to pull the plug for him to actually wrestle, you could I was saying since main event Uso already got a name for himself from that time with his brother was out, you could go ahead and have main event Uso compete in the Continental division, and then put Solo Sikoa with Jimmy Uso, and then that way the Usos, if they capture the tag team championship, it still seems like a new team because it's not Jimmy and Jay, it's Jimmy and Solo. It's the Usos, but it's a new face on there. So kind of give it like a fresh feel. It's like if the New Day added a new member, and this is an honor, like a real honest member, and Big E's in the main event scene. Xavier Woods is in the Intercontinental scene, and then now we got Kofi. Instead of Kofi, like that third person when them two is occupied, the third person just seemed like be third really. Now you got that one person that ain't in the tag, they are stable. Boom. I don't know, maybe.
No, I mean I see what you're saying. Moving on. Next match, Salavender, my boy, Tony D'Angelo. Tony D'Angelo is the new Don of NXT. He defeated Tommaso Ciampa, low blow DDT to the exposed concrete outside, and a boot to finish it off. I thought the match did its job. It was probably the best that it's probably the best that Tony D'Angelo has looked in NXT 2.0 since his match with Pete Dunne. But Tommaso Ciampa got a thank you Ciampa, and on his way out was greeted by Triple H. And I saw them and I said, God, I want to tag team with Triple H and Tommaso Ciampa.
Tommaso Ciampa is on his way to the main roster. That's all that was. Especially he got his thank you chance. It was over because it's like he passed the torch. So yeah, he on his way up.
Listen, bro, it's Tony D'Angelo, the new Don of NXT. Moving on, we had the NXT Tag Team Championship Triple Threat match: MSK, Imperium, and the Creed Brothers. MSK did get the win. They are the new NXT Tag Team Championships. I told you off camera, the match was good, but what's the point of winning the fucking Dusty Cup if you're not going to win the NXT Tag Team Championships? I said the same thing about the next match coming up with the women's fatal four-way. What's the point of winning the Dusty Cup if you're not going to win it? What's the point? That's like somebody winning King of the Ring and then they don't do shit with the gimmick. I mean, they just did that shit literally with Xavier Woods.
True, but I won't compare it like that because you still get a little push because you still won something, so you still get acknowledged as the 2022 Dusty Club winner. So, I mean, it depends. Like, you know, I'm a big fan on story. So, the story fit, it can make sense. You can overcome it. But if the story don't, yeah. Like the next match, yeah, I was gonna say one of them took the pin, but the other one didn't. But they both did look strong in the match as well.
Yeah, well, what did you think of the match, real quick, and then we could jump into the next match?
This match was good. I just think the Creed brothers, they just need a little bit more work, but they just need a little bit more experience. That's all I would say.
I couldn't agree more. I think, like you, they are ready. They do need to win the NXT tag team titles before they get called up to the main roster. Because my thing is, do you call up the Creed brothers without Malcolm Bivens and the entire Diamond Mine? I don't think so, because I think they won't survive on the main roster without a mouthpiece.
I think what they're gonna do, they're gonna treat them like the world's greatest tag.
Starting to come around to that, are you?
Yeah, it's starting to hit me.
I told you I'm not saying that they're like that, but they give off those vibes.
Yeah.
Moving on to the NXT Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way match: Mandy Rose, Cora Jade, Io Shirai, Kaylee Ray. Mandy Rose retained the NXT Women's Championship. Now, with Mandy Rose winning and the NXT Women's Tag Team, and with the rest of Toxic Attraction losing, I didn't understand this, because if you're going to take the belt off of a group, I would much rather you do it all in one swift motion. It should be like ripping off a Band-Aid. It should just happen. But she got the pinfall on Io Shirai, so now you just bury one half of the Dusty Cup winners instead of having her pin Cora Jade.
I don't think so, because it was like she snuck that win. She had Io Shirai, she had just hit her finisher, about to go for the pin, and then, you know, Mandy Rose is there. It's snuck it. Just throw the win. It's like Mandy Rose barely escaped as well.
Let me ask you a question. I would say
that. Still.
Okay, let me ask you this question, because I'm starting to think I figured out the Fatal 4-Way philosophy of WWE. If you do very little in the match, typically you're winning, right? Because Mandy Rose didn't really do a lot.
You could say that, but then again, the women's tag match at WrestleMania, the team that won did a lot.
Well, I just mean Fatal 4-Way singles.
Singles? I don't know. Yeah, it seems like, especially if you're a heel, yeah. You're a babyface and you going over, you'll be the one doing the most. And the one always getting attacked and stuff. But if you're the heel, you the one trying to avoid everybody and still in the win at the end. Like, you
Alright.
5% of work, and that's really at the end when you just see the opportunity. Then your finisher. That's typically how that goes if it's a heel win.
Mandy Rose got a hell of... Huh?
I said, which is how this one went.
True. Mandy Rose got a hell of a knee, though.
Yeah.
Hell of a knee.
They're probably hard like a rock.
Right. Next match, Gunther, LA Knight. Gunther got the win. This was probably the closest to Walter he's looked. I like the match. I love LA Knight. Yeah, that's my guy. Can't wait for him to get called up. I don't know how to feel about Gunther, Walter. That's why I don't really say much, because it's like I already said in part one, the aura of Walter is gone, but you still see glimpses of it. Like those chops are starting to get louder, but is it because they're letting him be more of Walter, or is it just that they want to just show you what he could be? But WWE and Vince McMahon is like, I'm going to show you what he is.
I really don't know. I think that this match didn't have to happen.
No,
that's what I would really say. LA Knight didn't have to lose. Nothing didn't have to face LA Knight. That's all.
No, I agree. Didn't need to happen. Main event, NXT Championship on the line. Dolph Ziggler, Braun Breaker. Dolph Ziggler retained by launching Braun Breaker into an exposed turnbuckle. Match was good. Let me first start off by saying that match is good. Robert Roode did a little bit too much on the outside for me. Like, I get it, but because he was already ejected, but then he comes back and drags Dolph Ziggler out of the ring, and I'm sitting here listening to Wade Barrett, and Wade Barrett is like, shouldn't that be a disqualification? I'm like, yeah, it should be a disqualification, because technically he came back.
Yeah,
I'm confused.
Fighting themselves in the ass on bending their own rules. It's like Charlotte Flair last year. She was able to put her hands on authorities and then get suspended. This year, she was able to put her hands on authorities and nothing happened.
That's a damn shame.
Yeah. But I mean, looking back on this now, because of when we filming it, I'm not gonna say too much because I'm gonna wait for it when we release week 14. I just say what I gotta say for week 14.
Fair enough. NXT Stand and Deliver Salamander, I'm giving it an 8. Solid, very good. This was probably the best NXT premium live event that they've put on since they've become 2.0.
I'm about to shock y'all. I'm giving it a 6. I'm giving it a 6 because looking back on it, I'm gonna tell y'all why on week 14.
Okay.
It is mainly with the main event that fucked the whole premium live event up.
No, okay, yeah.
It's a 6.
Okay, gotcha. Night 1, WrestleMania Night 1, the most stupendous WrestleMania of all time. Night 1, we're starting off with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. The Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs, which I still don't understand.
Yeah.
Match was over relatively quickly. Rick Boogs did suffer a quad injury when trying to lift up both of the Usos, and they went to the finish really quick. The Usos retained. I hate Rick Boogs went down like that because Shinsuke Nakamura looked visibly upset after the match, which goes to show me they were probably going over.
Probably not, but I hate to be the one to say, but maybe, just maybe, this is a blessing in disguise for Shinsuke. Because before, they put him in the tag and all that. So now with his tag partner being out, he got the time to be in the singles division and shine as being a single star, right? So, right. I mean, as long as WWE just don't smack him with another tag person. So, but if they don't, then it could be a chance for us to see a proper Shinsuke run that we need. I mean, now the Big Bulls help Shinsuke get the fans back into his theme song now. So now he got the love for Shinsuke. Turn him face. I mean, I think he is a face already, but have him do more babyface shit. Have him go on the tear, and why not give him a push? A proper one at that.
I think he will be a great challenger to Roman Reigns at a B-level pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a
strong
fantastic
style.
challenger.
Yeah, to see if Roman can really stand strong style. That'd be
No,
good.
I couldn't.
They
Yeah,
gonna do the finish would be him trying to do the Kinshasa, and Roman will catch him up for a powerbomb, hit him with the powerbomb, and then back up into the turnbuckles. Will fall into the turnbuckles. Shinsuke get up, hit him with the spear. 1, 2, 3.
or how about he just locks in the guillotine off the Kinshasa?
Or that.
I mean, either way. I mean, I like yours. I like yours too. I'm just saying, like, I think it probably, knowing WWE, they probably will want Roman to look very strong. So tapping out Shinsuke.
Yeah, I would say that showed more dominance of him like tapping, not even tapping him out. That might make him like go to sleep with a ref just raise the arm, and if it flops down, they just ring the bell. Then you keep it on for like 10 seconds longer before you drop him and throw his body down.
Never know.
Yeah, title, stand over him, hold the title up, or both titles, depending on what happens.
I agree. Moving on. The Miz and Logan Paul versus Dominic and Rey Mysterio. The Miz and Logan Paul got the win. I thought this was a fantastic match, one of the best, better matches of the weekend. Salamander Logan Paul can get fucking heat.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. I mean, well, he get heat in real life, so I don't even think that was just heat just for him being just doing what he was doing in the ring. I just think that's heat just because he's Logan Paul. But out of all celebrity matches, this is by far the great one. I ain't been this impressed until we saw Bad Bunny, and then the time before that was Floyd Mayweather and Big Show. That was actually impressive. It had me entertained. But this match was actually good. I was entertained, and this is one of the matches, might I add, that I was least looking forward into, but it surely changed my mind. And Logan Paul is the reason. This match was actually good, and he did what he needed to do. Like I was shocked that he was in the ring as much as he was. I didn't expect for him to get so much. He's a celebrity. Celebrities usually don't get that much, physical time. But he actually did, and when he was in the ring, he was actually pretty good, selling, performing the moves. And Frog Splash was good. It was good. I can't even lie. But I am glad he finally got 619 as well. But Dominic Mysterio, he did a wonderful job too, especially drawing up the fans on their side and everything, keeping everything in hope and everything. But I'm confused about the ending. I'm thinking that Miz probably used Logan Paul to get what he needed done, his WrestleMania moment. Now that he got it done, that's what he did. I don't think it's a babyface turn. But it might be because I have heard that Logan Paul, he's trying to get Logan Paul to be full-time and do a full-time run for at least a short while, however long they're trying to talk about. So I do think that they are doing the thing like that with Logan Paul. They're probably gonna turn Miz babyfaces so he can feud with Logan Paul. But probably after Miz feud with Logan Paul gonna be done with his contract, I guarantee you.
So do you have any Logan Paul news?
No, I don't.
So from what I'm hearing is that I guess in his contract that he signed, I don't know how long the contract is for, but he was to be babyface after this, Logan Paul. That's why. But my thing is they cheered for The Miz. So ultimately it's like a double turn because The Miz will be cheered when he goes against Logan Paul. So I'm confused on how you're about to they're about to run into the Roman Reigns situation with a celebrity, and they don't realize that they had to turn Roman heel in order to get this shit over. They're not going to cheer Logan Paul.
They're going to have to play the sympathy role with Logan Paul. He's going to have to take his social media to his advantage, all that shit. Just be sympathetic, like, man, do all this stuff. I thought he was really my friend. All this stuff. They just had a minute talk shit about him. That way it could possibly be another flip. And then Logan can actually be a babyface because we feel bad for him and we think Miz is just being an asshole and shit. Good.
I gotta see it. I gotta see it to believe it. Moving on, we had the Raw Women's Championship match next. Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair. Both of these entrances, top notch. Becky Lynch coming out in the SUV, Bianca Belair coming out. I want to say that was the Texas Southern Marching Band.
Yeah.
So I really love the entrance. I earlier when we were talking off camera, I told you I didn't like the context of it and of the match itself, but we had talked off camera. Now I see what you mean when you were saying that Bianca was in Becky Lynch's head. That's why she tried to end it with the manhandle slam. It didn't work. That's why she was trying to get out of there. So after talking to you, I do see that. Now I think this match is 5 fucking stars. This match is going to go down as one of the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time.
She went out fighting. You see the injury she suffered.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's fighting wounds. Yeah, I bet you it don't even hurt because the payoff was much more better. So that black eye it just came with the territory. So it don't even matter.
Yeah, like we talked about in part 1, after seeing how everything played out, that SummerSlam 26-second debacle, it doesn't look that bad.
Yeah.
Long-term booking. When I said this about the RK Bro thing, when WWE wants to get it right, they can do long-term booking.
Exactly.
You might not see it in the moment, but when it pays off and you look back over everything, they showed their ass off.
Exactly.
But what did you think of the match?
I loved it. It had me on my edge of my seat a few times. I thought Becky was gonna retain. I'm like, no, especially during the beginning when she hit her with the manhandle slam. I'm gonna call it the Becky slam, but she hit her with that, and then went for the pin, and she got the 2. I'm like, oh my god, they ain't about to do this again on Mania. Then she kicked out. There, just the whole match. I seen like Becky kind of she was panicking, but she kind of had control in the beginning, like the first, I say like the first 5 minutes of the match. But it was like a control of you rushing, doing moves just to get her. But once Bianca could time one of your moves correctly and get out that shit, it's a wrap. Like the table's gonna turn. It was one of those. But I loved it.
I couldn't agree more. Moving on, we had Seth Rollins versus a mystery opponent picked by Vince McMahon. First off, Seth Rollins coming out with the choir singing his music, A fucking plus.
Yeah, he stole Charlotte Road.
He did steal Charlotte's robe. So he walks in, and we're sitting here wondering, who the fuck could this be? Who the fuck could it be? Who the fuck could it be? Could it be a returning Shane McMahon?
That's what I was thinking. I kept saying, here comes the money.
Does WWE and Vince McMahon want to watch the world burn when Here Comes the Money hits? No. Could it have been a returning Elias? Fuck no. Who is that guy? We don't even know that guy. Salamander, the lights go out, and you
Undertaker?
hear. You hear. Wrestling has more than one royal family. And the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes music hits. And he comes from underneath the ring. The Cody Vader is in WWE. And the prodigal son has returned home. Cody Rhodes is back in WWE as the American Nightmare gimmick. I told you off camera, this is deeper than just getting Cody Rhodes the person. You got Cody Rhodes the character. The same character he left AEW on. Bring it over. 5 fucking stars. The match, fan-fucking-tastic. 5 stars on the match as well. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins put on a banger of a match. Salamander, you said it was a work. What did you think of the match and Cody Rhodes' arrival?
I'm wrong. I can admit I'm wrong. I thought it was a work. I thought it was one of them things that I believe it when I see it. But as I'm watching and I hear the music start, I'm like, okay, I gotta see it. And then the logo popped up. I'm like, okay. And then I see him rise from below. I'm like, hell to the no. They literally, the one thing I loved about this, they literally took, it's like a crossover. Like we talk about fantasy booking. This was the as close of a fantasy booking you can get. It's literally everything. That's like Aleister Black going to AEW as Aleister Black. Same thing, same all that shit. Nothing changed. It's like Andrade staying as Andrade, crossing over with Selena Vega. And they all stay the same. Everything they WWE way is the same. That shit crazy. First time ever I think this happened in wrestling, or at least in our generation area that we witnessed. Any time other than that, like the names are the same, but something changed. This is the first time that we actually seen like exactly copy and paste over here, and that's crazy.
The Cody Vader in WWE. But see, earlier in the show, did you ever go back and watch the Gable Steveson interview?
Yeah.
Did you see the trapdoor?
I didn't. I only really saw when Stephanie. Well, that was night 2, I think. But Stephanie had introduced him.
That was night 1.
Yeah, that was it.
So when she did that, I was looking behind because I'm like, why is there a separate square within the stage? And I got to thinking like, that's a trapdoor. Cody's there. You wouldn't have a trapdoor for nobody else but Cody.
I don't know. Somebody, WrestleMania, and everybody already always bring out the best of the best for their entrance. So it could have been somebody.
A trapdoor. Now the only
Rollins want to come from the bottom.
First off, Seth Rollins got a whole choir. He ain't coming from the bottom.
Yeah, they singing. He coming from the bottom, raising his arms up.
Cody Rhodes is the only person I know who's using that elevator to have this granddaddy entrance.
Undertaker came back. He do that.
Listen, I've seen everything I needed to see when I saw WrestleMania 21 and he didn't walk to the ring. There was nothing else you could tell me. Moving on. We had the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line. Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey. Little Nate was refereeing this match, so I should have known some Flair shenanigans were about to happen. But Charlotte Flair got the win. There was a referee bump. Remember when I was talking shit about Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns crown jewel referee bump because he wasn't in the right spot? That's how you do a referee bump. Being in the right spot ahead of time.
Legend right there. See what happens when you put an experienced referee who's been in the game for 20 plus years, who's been doing this. They don't fuck up. It's a rare time where you'll see Lil Nate's fuck up. Remember, he gave the run of his life. He had a referee got knocked out. I think it was a Brock Lesnar match, and he needed a referee. He had to run that long ass ramp.
Yes.
But
yes.
Angela made the 1-2 for the kick out.
Yes. Loved it. What did you think of the match? I thought the match, it wasn't bad, but like we already talked about, Ronda's attitude kind of made me not like the match, and the fact that she can only do an arm drag, a judo throw, arm bar, ankle lock, and Piper's Pit, it kind of takes me out of it because it's like you don't have your moves don't have the prestige of a Brock Lesnar doing a suplex sitting.
Right. I think basically this is like on night 1, this is one of the least matches of like my least favorite. If I have to give a thumbs down to any of these matches, I would say that is one of them. And every Ronda match is the same. Like you just pointed out her 4 moves. People say John Cena got 5 moves. Shit, Ronda got 5 moves. Real.
She got 4 moves.
4. She got a 4 for 4.
A 4 for 4 and a title that she ain't got. But moving on to the main event. We had the main event KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin, where Kevin Owens said he brought Steve out here because he wanted to fight him. We then had a no-holds-barred match between Kevin Owens and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold got the win. I think he looked fantastic. His selling at, what is he, like 57?
Yeah, he up there.
Yeah,
my biggest fear was for Stone Cold to come in and be rusty and stuff and be very noticeable, but it really it changed my mind. I was entertained, and I wasn't expecting no match. I will say that.
Yeah, I really wasn't expecting a match either, but I'm glad we got it. And what a way for him to go out on WrestleMania. He really showed out. He was definitely the highest point between both shows,
Now,
and I like that.
let me ask you a question.
Yes.
You reported a while ago that WWE wanted to work with Stone Cold at longer than WrestleMania. So, what do you think WWE plans is for him at this moment?
I don't know. If anything, if I'm gonna do anything with Stone Cold Steve Austin, I would love to see him and Vince get back into their shenanigans. So we know Vince McMahon is a on-screen. He's like buddies with Austin Theory. So what if we do what if we go back to the GM? Stone Cold's the GM, but Vince McMahon is over him, and Vince is trying to push Austin Theory, but Stone Cold refuses to put him in matches. And because Steve Austin is the GM, he does have booking. He has booking rights.
Yeah, but Vince uses power to go over him, book him anyway.
Yep. And we keep getting that fallout.
It's gonna lead to a stunning.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna redeem himself.
But night one, Salamander, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
Another thing, I agree with that. It's just that, it's just every round match is the same. That's the only bad thing. But other than that, like the build up to everything and stuff, every match left me on my seat. And I was expecting for Ronda to win, but the fact that they decided to keep it on Charlotte is a fact I'm giving it a 10 out of 10.
Yes, I do like how they didn't buckle and put it on Ronda.
I think every match was made a work call on this.
Yes. We are moving on to night two. Triple H comes out, leaves his boots in the ring. Emotional moment.
Emotional. He did everything he needed to do. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you for everything. Legend. Possibly headliner for 2023. Possible.
I just wish we could have got that Triple H Cody Rhodes WrestleMania match.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get a Tommaso Ciampa instead. One of his proteges going up against
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Seth Rollins. What if that's Cody's character? He's just here to demolish all of Triple H's proteges.
Hey, that's his biggest beef. And then after he's done with Triple H's proteges, he move on to Randy Orton.
There you go. That'll probably get him through his first year, and then he could hold the United States title for a year because he's the American Nightmare.
What if he's the reason RK Bro split? He became the demise of it. He's like,
Who turns on who though? Does Riddle turn on Orton?
Like he caused them to basically to separate, and then that's why we get the one-on-one focus on Randy and Cody.
I'm all here for it.
I don't know how they would set that up though, but just the fact that he's the demise of why RK Bro broke up.
Pull a swerve. Instead of having them break up, Cody Rhodes cost them the title. And he's always attacking Orton. And this will be the one time that Riddle gets upset. He's like, bro, you got to handle your beef with Cody Rhodes. Handle your beef with Cody, come back and find me. I like that because then you think you're going to get the Orton turn, but it's really just Matt Riddle and you get an amicable split so they could always come back and form a tag team later on. Now you've got the heat for Randy Orton when he eventually turns on Riddle. And like, you left me to handle Cody Rhodes by myself. I thought we was boys. I thought we were bros. I say you do it like that.
Okay, I like that.
After Triple H, emotional moment, we started with the Raw Tag Team Triple Threat match. Alpha Academy, Street Profits, RK Bro. RK Bro got the win. Riddle and Orton, keep them together as long as you can.
You know what? I didn't understand that didn't make sense.
What's
Why
that?
the fuck the Street Profits would celebrate with them?
Maybe because they weren't heels. Maybe they were just taking a more serious tone. Because I definitely thought they was going to beat their ass on the outside.
That's what I thought. Cause they talk about they fucking around no more. They more serious now. So I'm thinking like, all right, y'all lost. So why y'all celebrating with the other babyface team or whatever? It should be like, all right, y'all should be in the ring like, all right, y'all lucky, but give us 1-on-1 type shit. But I don't know. That was the only thing that kind of left me like with questions. Like, why would they move?
I mean, I didn't understand why we had to bring Gable Stevenson in there and pretty much sacrifice Chad Gable for him.
Because that's his first feud when he officially made the crossover to WWE. The fact that it's two former gold medalists going up against each other, man, never had that in WWE. That'd be a feud of a lifetime. Imagine having Kurt Angle at the peak of Kurt Angle at WWE, matching up with another Kurt Angle. If it was Chad Gable wrestled back then, Chad Gable versus Kurt Angle back then. Yeah, they ain't never had this.
I mean, I like it. He just doesn't. Gable Stevenson just doesn't look impressive to me. Maybe it's because I haven't seen a lick of him professionally wrestling, but I wasn't too impressed from what I saw.
Yeah, I about to say he just got done. He just got done, wrapping up his shoes and stuff. So he probably still in training. I bet.
Gotcha. Moving on, we had the Almighty Bobby Lashley versus Omos. Bobby Lashley got the win. This match was really nothing. They gave away. We already talked about this in part one when you give away moments and spots, and you kind of gave away the spot of Omos getting knocked on his ass on Monday.
Right. Once that happened, I knew Bobby's going over. That was it.
Yeah, the match needed a little bit more heat. I probably would have had Omos put Bobby Lashley through the table on Monday. That way you can get a table spot in the match or like a barricade spot. Something.
Had him compete in the table match. That'd be awesome. The question would be, can Bobby get him up enough to put him through a table?
You know, they just went with the table spot, the corner table spear.
Or that, yeah. Yeah, WWE, no, yeah. They ain't gonna have him do like the Dominator.
Yeah, they gonna have him catch Omos with a spear through the table, make it look extra vicious.
Yeah.
Moving on to probably the most entertaining match of the weekend. We had the Anything Goes match. Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. Johnny Knoxville got the win. This was full of shenanigans, but Salamander, I was thoroughly sports entertained.
Yeah, it was an entertaining one. It was a couple bloopers that was funny, especially at the end where Johnny Knoxville tried to pull the giant mouse trap and it didn't go off, so he had to do it himself and get hit in the process. That was kind of funny. Of course, the shenanigans with the jackass crew getting involved. The table, I was wondering when they was gonna do that table with all the mouse traps that was on there. But like I always say, if you set up the table, you go through it. Sami Zayn, he finished setting it up. It was down. Johnny Knoxville got it out, but Sami Zayn eventually put it on his two legs, and he wasn't one to go. But the celebrity always win. That's a proven fact. But for this to be a match that was very predictable, it was entertaining, nevertheless.
Yeah, only thing I probably would have done different about this is just had Sami Zayn dominate more, get a little bit more heat before we started the Johnny Knoxville shenanigans and comebacks.
Yeah.
Could have been shorter. I'd say 10 minutes. 7 for real. You could probably shave off 3.
It was like gimmick after gimmick after gimmick, basically. It went on too long, I would say.
I can see that.
I forgot his name, but the dude that came from under the ring with the thong. Once he came, then that should be like the finish should be right around the corner. But that should have been prolonged too much.
I will say this: they need to pay whatever they're paying Sami Zayn. He needs a nice little pay raise for doing this type of match.
Right. I
don't know. Get him another title run with the IC belt and having add some prestige to it, or throw him into like a main event program again with Roman and actually have it play out the correct way, you could do that. But he needs something.
Yeah.
He needs something. Fatal 4-way match for the women's tag team championships. We had Carmella and Queen Zelina, Boss Glow, Sasha, Naomi, Shayna Baszler, Natalya, and Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley. Sasha Banks and
Live
for brutality.
Yes.
I don't like the name, bro. I'm sorry. I don't like the name.
Part 1, I promised I was gonna rant on this shit, so let me rant on this shit. This shit was ass because, for one, the original build-up was for what the team's called Boss Glow to face Queen Zelina and Carmella. Then y'all added in Live for Brutality. Then at the last minute, y'all added in Natalya and Shayna Baszler. So it's a fatal 4-way match. For the title, you thinking, okay, it's a common fact that Carmella and Queen Zelina is going to drop the titles. Question is, who's going to win it? Boss Glow might win, so question is, do they pin Live for Brutality? Or no, they don't want Live for Brutality to take the pinfall because they building them up as well. They don't want the champions to take the pinfall because they building them up and Boss Glow is going to win. So who took the pinfall? Oh, the team that we just added in a few weeks ago. No, Boss Glow pinned the champions and let the finish happen with just them in the ring for 5 minutes and the other teams just sitting on the outside watching. And then on top of that, what was the point of adding the other two teams in if you just gonna have the original challengers pin the champions anyway? What was the point? What was the purpose? What was the reason?
I can tell you the reason. It's the exact thing. It's the exact thing that you always shit about for this company. Putting all the women together just to put them on the card. WrestleMania is not like your B and C level pay-per-views. You have to earn that spot. Not everybody's not meant for Mania.
That's true. I would rather much love it if they would have gave us Boss Glow versus Queen Zelina and Carmella for the titles. And then in a separate match gave us Natalya and Shayna Baszler versus Liv for Brutality. The winner get a future title shot at the Women's Tag Team Champions. That's how you can prolong that story. Boom. Whoever win that, whoever is the outcome of the Tag Team Champions, whoever Boss Glow won, but now they face Boss Glow at a future event. We just don't know yet, but they get a future title shot. Boom. I would have loved it better if they do that. That way you got you got 4 women's matches on the card. At least one women's match is not for no title. So that made that match mean something more.
No, I couldn't agree more. There was no point in having your champions get pinned if you added people into it. Because my reasoning is, if you're going to add somebody into a match that was supposed to be just a one-on-one or a 2-on-2 and making it into some form of a multi-man match, it's so your champions don't get pinned, so you have a reason to run it back at the next premium live event.
Right, KB. What is the thing that commentators always stress about when it's when it's a triple threat, fatal 4-way, fatal 5-way, 6-man, 8-man, whatever?
Champions do not have to be factored into the decision to lose the title.
Exactly. So you bring in a fatal 4-way into this, you thinking, all right, so who's gonna take the pinfall? You won. Last thought would be the champions, and the last thought of the team gonna know would be the original challengers anyway. I just feel like they fucked up on this one. This will be like the only shit of the day for real. I would really say that.
I couldn't agree more. Moving on.
I had a shit on 2 women matches, but it's WWE. I don't know who the fuck y'all got ready for y'all.
Moving on, we had AJ Styles versus Edge. Edge got the win off of Damian Priest interference. I thought this match was fan-fucking-tastic, marvelous even. They worked a very old school style way. And I felt like because it was at WrestleMania, it got the appreciation. But if it wasn't at Mania, you probably would have heard some boring chants.
Nah, I like the match. And I really think, at first, we were kind of confused. Like, what is that? Why they whatever. Now it's starting to make sense. Edge, he's becoming this dark character. He's been referencing the Brood a lot, so I think WWE is bringing in their own Brood and shit like that, but it's gonna be led by Edge because WWE don't own the name Gangrel. Gangrel owns that, so he already went on record saying that he kind of like got heat with WWE. They don't like him because of the fact that anytime they bring up or say that they have to pay him and shit. So they ain't fucking with that. So what other way to wipe him out and then just make people think, oh, the Brood, the first person you'll think is Edge. But the way Damian Priest came and did that match, that's the same way how Edge joined the group back in the 90s. Christian came out and did that during his match, and then shortly after he was with the Brood. So that's all I'm seeing, that this is just a new version of it led by Edge. He's going to teach on a new brand and generation of wrestlers. Starting with Damian Priest, it's rumored that Rhea Ripley's supposed to join the group as well. That this will be a phenomenal group because we've seen how the Brood did for Edge and Christian. They made a name for themselves after the Brood was over with, and became future champions of the WWE as well. So there's a chance that this can be the same thing. Why not? Edge, pretty much after this, when you hang him up, you're gonna be done for. So why not get some talent over that you feel like deserve to be in the spotlight? I'm 100% behind it.
I just wish that this would have been Rhea Ripley's first thing coming up from NXT.
It would be awesome right there, yes, I do agree.
Yeah, because now it's like she was already pushed to be the Raw Women's Champion, so it's like she's kind of taking a step back instead of starting off with this, and then, like you said, she's getting a push afterwards, and now she's getting to the main event scene. And if they did it right, maybe she could be the heel to dethrone Bianca Belair if they did it right.
Right.
But because we've already seen her in that main event picture, it's kind of, I'm not saying she's taking a step back, but to the appearance of it, like, yeah, you're gonna be with Edge, but you were a former Raw Women's Champion,
right.
former tag team champion. Now you're relegated to this, and it's not a bad thing, but JR and everybody else says if you're not in the business for winning championships, then what the fuck are you doing? So I don't know. Like I said, it's not a backtrack, but it kind of is, if that makes sense.
It does.
But overall, the match was fucking fantastic. Loved it. Next up, The New Day versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. God fucking awful.
It's
God fucking awful.
Awful. I like how the New Day gave tribute to Big E when he won his WWE title for the first time. That's what the attire that he wore. But I don't like how the New Day just got squashed like that. This match was like 3 minutes or less. And then on top of that, the original plan was to have Big E, the whole New Day reunite for the first time in years as a unit, and then go up against Butch and Ridge Holland and Sheamus. So this happened. This kind of made me think that it was gonna happen anyway. Just the whole New Day, that they was just gonna squash the whole New Day. They don't even make sense. They don't even sound right. The New Day getting squashed. That do not sound right.
I just don't understand. And like I've said, I'm not an advocate for anybody losing their job, but I'm just not understanding how Ridge Holland was not being punished for this.
Exactly.
Like this just don't make sense to me. Why isn't he being punished? He literally put a guy on the shelf. His career may be over, done. And even if he can come back, he won't be the same. There are certain moves he can't do. There are certain spots he can't do. Yet the guy who did this to him is getting WrestleMania wins, pinfall wins, just not being part of the winning team. He got the winning fall.
Weeks after that happened as well.
Yes. So what's going on? Are we just rewarding unsafe workers now? Is that because that's what it appears to me?
Or maybe it was really by accident and WWE giving him the benefit of the doubt.
An accident.
That's a question we really don't know for real.
An accident is something you could come back from. This is a career-ending injury, and even if he comes back, he won't be the same.
I'd say this is probably strike one for him, or probably two, because he did with Johnny Gargano as well. I'll say it's probably like strike two. Maybe one more fuck up, he's gone. I don't know.
I mean, Salamander, he's injuring top guys.
That's true. But I think only the time will tell for real where this was go and how WWE would treat it.
But they canned Mr. Kennedy for less.
They did, but WWE was different back then. That was a different time.
I don't know. I don't like this shit. I tell you that. I'd hate this shit.
Yeah.
Moving on to something that was 10 times better than that shit. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory.
Yes.
Fan-fucking-tastic.
He surprised the hell out of me, especially the way his vertical and shit jumping up on that bitch, on that turnbuckle like that. Phenomenal.
And then that led into Pat McAfee versus Vince McMahon. Pat McAfee was running his mouth too much. Austin Theory interfered. Vince McMahon punted a football into Pat McAfee and got the win, which then led to Stone Cold Steve Austin coming down, and we were just in nostalgia city. It was all nostalgia. They shared a beer. Vince sipped it first to make sure he liked it. Then he took the worst stunner of all time, which then led to Pat McAfee getting a stunner because he thought he was about to be drinking with Stone Cold. To then the greatest image that I think I've ever seen, Pat McAfee drinking a beer laid out outside. He's a national treasure.
Yeah. I think with the match with Vince McMahon could have went different. I think that went a little bit too long. They could have teased it a little bit more. Then Vince McMahon come in, then had Austin Theory circle around the ring, but Pat McAfee so focused on Vince and shit, and then he pulled he did what he did anyway. Pulled his foot, bring him into the pole, have him hit his balls, and then Vince hit him with the ball, and then 1, 2, 3, and it's over. I think that's how that should have went. I just think it went a little bit too long. He looked good for his age, but he ain't been in the ring for so long. And it's just always funny when a boss fuck up.
I think that he generates a lot of heat to be that old.
He do. But it's funny when a boss fuck up though. That's the funniest. That was the funniest part about the segment because he fucked up like twice.
Listen, bro, it's Vince McMahon. He can fuck up anytime he wants.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about it.
Moving on to the most stupendous match of all time. Title for title, winner take all, championship unification, the head of the table, the tribal chief, the universal champion Roman Reigns versus the babyface Brock Lesnar, the WWE champion.
Exactly. This match, it did what it needed to do. I don't think it did a proper ending that it needed, as you pointed out. 'Cause I didn't know that. I thought it was all the work, but he was apparently injured. And then looking at pictures of it, it do seem like something was poking out of there. I don't know if his shoulder was dislocated or he tore a muscle or anything like that. But it could have went longer, but it do seem like it's still up in the air. Like you would think the after this match, you would think the rivalry between the two should be done and over with, like entirely. But I feel like it's not, because the way it ended, it just seemed like it's still something that's not done for.
Yeah, we talked about it off camera, and it did feel like that they left it open-ended, but I think that was just because of the injury to Roman. I thought it was, like I told you off camera, I just thought it was weird when Roman is sitting there and the camera's up on him and you hear him saying, it's out. And I'm like Roman's selling has came leaps and bounds, but that felt real when he said it. And the fact that the way he was holding his shoulder, saying it's out. It seemed like we had about another 5 minutes left in the match.
Exactly.
But it did its job, though. It was every Roman and Brock match. Big move. Superman punch, spear, F5. But those matches work for those two, especially with the godlike mode that Roman Reigns has been on. Right. I feel like Roman Reigns shouldn't even be doing actual wrestling moves now. I feel like if you're going against Roman Reigns, he's on God mode. He's coming out finisher, finisher, finisher. That way, when it's time for him to lose, that's how he loses because he came out too hot. Maybe he loses it to Cody Rhodes, SummerSlam 2023.
Looking in on it, that is a good thing. I wouldn't even be thinking about that. Look at you trying to book your tribal chief.
Listen, bro. I've already said it. Cody Rhodes can go on a nice run. I like what you said, getting through this year with the Randy Orton. Then the following year, which will be early 2023, he can finish his stuff with Randy Orton. That'll probably be like August. If you want to run that at SummerSlam, he can go on a nice little year-long run with the United States title. They'll probably throw a draft in there. Champions will probably stay on their respective brands. Cody Rhodes get drafted to SmackDown. Let's just say he gets a nice little run with the IC belt. Then he challenges Roman because you got to get through The Rock and Roman. So that's next year's WrestleMania program. So Roman's not losing from here till there. So this is all Roman. Then after that SummerSlam, Cody Rhodes dethrones him. Roman Reigns comes out too hot, thinking he's going to put Cody Rhodes down with relative ease. Cody Rhodes jaws in deep into the deep water. We get a nice little 25-30 minute match. Cody Rhodes hits one crossroads in order to win. Or maybe 3. I would say 3 or 4, but he tries the first one and Roman kicks out at 1, but then he gets pissed the same way he did against Seth Rollins. Yeah. And he just hits multiple. And that's how he dethrones the tribal chief.
I think it could work. It could work. It could work.
I mean, who you don't want? Would you be okay with a Drew McIntyre dethroning? Because if it's not Drew, if it's not Cody, I don't want it to be Drew. If it's not Cody, the only other babyface I'm taking is Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, I would rather must see Bobby. I would like that matchup because we really ain't never really seen that one-on-one matchup between the Almighty and the Tribal Chief. Now, I'm gonna be honest. Roman, he grew on me. And as I tweeted out right after his match, I acknowledge you. Roman Reigns, you my Tribal Chief. I'm gonna be honest. I was so much against it, especially if you've been watching us since episode 1. You will see that I was so much against it. Now, Bobby's still my guy, but I cannot deny this run from Roman. Like, he is on a 580 plus day reign. Anybody did these type of numbers since the 80s. He is by far. You want to put a GOAT on somebody? He could definitely be in that category for real. Because ain't nobody did none of this shit since the 80s. So he could, for real, for statistically speaking, he can be better. He's better than John Cena, Randy Orton, Triple H, all of them, Undertaker, all of them, for real.
Listen to.
On top of that, the fact that he defeated Undertaker at WrestleMania, that just topped it all off. All that shit.
Listen, I'm about to channel my inner Michael Cole. Listen to the names that Roman Reigns is associated with: Bob Backlund, Bruno Sammartino, Pedro Morales, Hulk Hogan.
That's only three people above him.
He's in that category.
Like I said, people from the 80s, 70s, 60s. Crazy numbers. I get it. He is on God level. I get it. That's why I say I acknowledge you, my Tribal Chief.
Before we go ahead and get to the new Salamander WrestleMania Night 2, I'm going to give it a 9. Solid.
I give it a 9 too, as well.
Your
10, night 2, it get a 9. I get an 8. It get an 8, night 2 get an 8. Night 2, they just need to do something more different. Fuck the night 1, night 2 shit. Combine them all together, man. I will sit through a 6 hour shit. I start this bitch at 7. I'll sit there, I'm occupied. Order some pizza and shit, some nachos or whatever, and watch this shit. Man, I'm just 2 night shit. I don't know, cause night 1 I be like so hyped, and night 2 they feel like, to me, it never lives up to it. Never. Night 1 always do better than night 2.
Your match of the weekend.
I'm gonna go Edge and AJ Styles.
I'm gonna go FTR versus the Briscoes for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships.
Okay.
Like I said, I think it'll be tag. I think it'll be tag team match of the year.
I'm going Seth and Cody.
Seth and Cody.
Seth and Cody.
Big moment. That's a huge moment.
Got to. It only makes sense. But without further ado, guys, let's jump into the news. Now we're gonna start off with the Go Home Show's ratings. Bringing in the first one, we got Raw. The episode had drew the average of 1.979 million viewers on the USA Network, which is up from the 1.769 million viewers it did last week. The 18 to 49 demographics has saw the average rating being up. This week it did a 0.55 rating. And last week it did a 0.50. Now, this is kind of similar to what it did last week from hour 1 through 3. Hour 1 drew in 2.052 million viewers last week. Hour 1 drew in 1.778 million viewers. Hour 2 had drew in 2.100 million viewers, while hour 2 last week had drew in 1.870 million viewers. Hour 3 had drew in 1.786 million, while last week hour 3 had drew in 1.659 million viewers. It's looking like hour 2 is the best hour of WWE of Raw, at least. That's like I said, hour 1, mainly hour 2 for sure. You kind of get more wrestling. But they need to do something with that hour 3. Either cut back to hour 2. Cause I'm guarantee if they cut to back to the 2-hour show, they be bringing in SmackDown numbers. Just looking at this shit. Hour 1, you did 2 million. Hour 2, you did 2.1. You'll average at least 2 million viewers if y'all cut back to 2 hours. That third hour, you're trying to keep people in. They ain't. Especially if it's not that third hour, ain't entertaining. That's the downfall. That's what people click off.
Yeah, you're right. I would love for Raw to go to 2 hours, but then I feel like Raw has such a big roster. You wouldn't be utilizing anybody. The problem that we complain about now is that we don't have we see the same people. Well, if you cut the show down by an hour, that's whoever's in that third hour isn't getting any TV time. So now we're really seeing the same people.
Just think about this. We seeing the same people now, right? We cut the time off and then we cut that third hour off, and then that can take away time from people being utilized. They already not being utilized. But what's the point? They already taking the time up. Cut the 2 hours. Hey, you ain't on TV now, you ain't gonna be on TV, we'll be in 2 hours.
But the people who are on the third hour, they wouldn't be getting TV time.
They'll move it up. They'll figure out a way. SmackDown does. They'll figure out a way. But it's straight to the punch. You get everything. This third hour stuff, it's something they gotta do because that third hour is not entertaining. So you gotta do something to keep the people in the whole show. That's a long ass show. 3 hours of wrestling plus commercials. It'd be different. It's like a premium live event, but limited and shit like that. They just play ads and shit. But this, you gotta go through 3 hours of wrestling plus commercials, and by the time you 2 hours and a half, hour and a half into the show, you like, damn, you getting bored. But they need to do something going into that third hour.
I mean, they got to do something else. We thought they had it with the Raw Underground. That shit didn't work. So I do agree with you. They got to do something. I don't think moving Raw to 2 hours is the best move, especially for that big a roster on Monday Night Raw. So, but I do agree with you. You got to do something. You got to find something to make that third hour entertaining.
All right. But moving on to the next show, we got NXT 2.0. The show, they drew in an average of 626,000 live viewers on the USA Network, which is down. This is up from the 628,000 viewers the show. No, it's down. I'm tripping. It's down from the 628,000 viewers the show did a week ago. Now, it did a 0.14 rating in the 18 to 49 demographics, which it did the same rating a week ago. Now, it looks like NXT is some, it did the same in the demographics, but it went down 2. Last week it went up 1, or went up 2, but it looked like they on a steady pace.
Yeah, I don't think that 18 to 49 is going to change.
Yeah.
And it's sad too because that's sad too because that's who they're wanting to attract. You could tell by the vibe of the show, the music they use. They're really trying to get that younger demographic, but it's just not working.
Right. I wonder how they really base that out. Like people watching from their phones, or what if you watching cable? Like how do they base that out? Like that statistic really based on the people's age.
I feel like it's just once it hits the home, so it doesn't matter who's watching as long as somebody's watching it in the home.
But how do they know your age when you watching it? That's my guess. It probably take
I guess it
aim to like cable in whoever age that is, because it's tuned into the programming, so it counts.
I mean, I would figure if it's the Nielsen's, they probably got like access to accounts.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like, so whoever they say you just watching cable and it's in somebody who's like 35 name or whatever, so it would count that towards this demographic. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I probably would agree with you.
But Dynamite, they drew in a average of 979,000 viewers, which is down for the 46,000 viewers the show did a week ago. In the 18 to 49 demographics, the show did a 0.38 rating, which is down from the 0.41 rating it did last week. Now, KB, are you worried?
No, I told you on multiple occasions, as long as you're within your target number, then there's really nothing to worry about. I feel like Dynamite's target number is anywhere from 950,000 to 1 million. Now, the week or weeks that we get under 950,000, then that's something to worry about. But we've seen with Dynamite's numbers, it fluctuates. 1 week it'll hit 1 million, 1 week it'll hit 900,000, but it's never dropped below 900,000. So I feel like that's a good thing.
All right, now SmackDown. The show averaged 2.359 million viewers on Fox, which is up for the 2.180 million viewers it did a week ago. The 18 to 49 demographics did a 0.61 rating, which is up from the 0.49 rating it did a week ago. SmackDown really improved this week. It jumped tremendously in both the viewers and the demographics.
I don't look too much into this. It's in every home.
Yeah, it's free TV. I get it. Now, Rampage, they drew 456,000 viewers and did a 0.15 rating in the 18 to 49 demographics on TNT at the 10 p.m. slot. Now, last week, it did a 425,000 viewers and a 0.14 rating, which is the lowest key demographics the viewers had showed in its time slot at 10 o'clock. Now, I think it did that because it was the first weekend being back since, it was coming on at 8 o'clock. And I just think people just forgot. It bounced back.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but not only that, and this is what happens when Rampage, with Rampage being a tape show and it being WrestleMania weekend, Rampage was also competing with its other company, Ring of Honor.
Yeah, that's true too. But they still did good though. They last week they did 425,000. This week they did 456,000. So they improved from what they did last week. So I just think last week they suffered because people forgot that it wasn't coming on at 8. It came on at 10. And now that was the first week of it being back at that time slot. And then this week they're on at 10, but they grew from last week. So I think they did like its average or what it normally does. But the most important thing that they bounced back from last week, so it shows you that people didn't drop off. It shows you that people simply just probably forgot what time it came on. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But moving on to our next story, we got Pat McAfee. He explains why AJ Styles had blood on his face during his WrestleMania entrance. Now, At WrestleMania, AJ Styles, he had walked out to the ring with blood on his face. There was reports from the building, from the fans saying that AJ Styles was that the cut that AJ Styles had was caused by the pyro. But however, other fans who was closer to the ramp, they noted that Styles, when he was coming out, he had hit his face on the WrestleMania stage. And Styles, he was not aware of this happen. He was not aware of blood being on the face when he made his way to the ring. With Pat McAfee, he noted on his YouTube show that when Styles was busted open, leaving the gorilla position, he indeed hit the star on his way out. And McAfee said on his way out for his match, he was told to walk directly into the middle to avoid getting hurt, as AJ Styles had hurt himself earlier in that night.
Gotta watch out, man. They put a lot of time, effort, and money into these sets.
I think it should have been higher up, or that shit was too narrow.
I mean, all they did. When was the last time he was in Dallas? Was that 32?
It was a while ago.
You remember which WrestleMania? Wasn't it 32? Wasn't that was Triple H? Triple H and Roman.
31, 32, I think.
I think it was 32. Yeah, that's all it was. It was just a bigger play on that set.
Moving on to the next story, we got Roman Reigns. He surpasses one of The Rock's WWE milestones. Now, Roman Reigns, he beat Brock Lesnar in a winner-take-all unification match to become the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Now, as a result, Reigns, he has surpassed The Rock, John Cena, Brock Lesnar, and Shawn Michaels on the list of working the most WrestleMania main events. Roman Reigns, he had headlined the show 6 times, and now I'm about to give you a list of the top 5 most main event, most headliners who main event WrestleMania. Number 5, it's a quadruple tie. It's The Rock, John Cena, HBK, and Brock Lesnar. Number 6 is number 4 is Roman. The top 4. 4 is The Rock, John Cena, HBK, Brock Lesnar. 3 is Roman Reigns. 2 is Triple H at 7. And number 1 is Hulk Hogan at 8 main events.
Well, what's number 2? 7?
Yeah, Triple H with 7 main events.
Well, we know he'll be tied with Triple H for number 2 at least, because he's main event next year.
Yeah. He only need one more, but at least 2 more after that to surpass. He gonna get that before he hang him up. Cause he gonna be known as like the greatest WWE superstar ever. That's what WWE's booking him towards. I can see that now.
I mean, this heel run has shown that he deserves it.
Yeah,
he probably could have been the greatest had Vince turned him heel earlier.
Yeah, but I think timing is everything. This is the right time to do it. I don't think he would have got as over as he is if he would have turned heel then. Because then we wanted it too much. By the time he turned heel, we was at the point where we accept that he was going to always be babyface. And then they just struck us and we was surprised and we just loved it. And now he's finally over. So, timing is everything.
I agree.
But moving on to the next story, we got WWE. They made some changes to King Wood's name. Now, last October, Xavier Woods, he had won the King of the Ring tournament, and he was renamed King Woods as he played up to the British accent, similar to what WWE had done in the past with some previous winners, including Zelina Vega, that now go by Queen Zelina, Booker T, and at the time he was known as King Booker. Now Woods, he made his return last week after being cleared from injury that he had suffered early in January. Now Woods and Kofi Kingston that had set up their WrestleMania match against Sheamus and Ridge Holland. Ahead of the match, the decision was decided to drop the King monitor name from Xavier Woods, and now they have referred him as Xavier Woods instead of King Woods like they did in the past. It's unclear what led up to this name change, but I'm thinking it was a call for Vince McMahon, and basically because Jerry Lawler was going to be at WrestleMania, they didn't want the fan. He feared that the fans probably was going to get King Woods confused with Jerry the King Lawler. When he announced Jerry the King, you probably going to get him confused with King Woods. That's, if I have to put money on it, I would say that was the reason.
Probably. You never know. I mean, I don't think Xavier Woods was doing much with the King gimmick anyway, so nothing lost, no love lost.
Yeah, I think he got too injured too fast after he gained it for real.
Yes.
Like within like 3 months of being 3 months of being king, you had an injury. You've been off since. So. But moving on to the next story, we got Samoa Joe. He opens up about his second WWE release. Samoa Joe, he stated that he knew his second WWE run was due to Triple H and William Regal. But however, once when WWE started making changes to NXT and William Regal was let go, he knew it was just a matter of time before he was gone. He would say, and quote, "Me going back to WWE was majority because of people I work with and relationships I built in the company, mainly two people in Triple H and William Regal. As Triple H was dealing with his situation, which I obviously knew about, and I was way more concerned about than my employment. With Ringo and his departure, I just knew that was right on the wall for me." How you feel about this? I mean, it was very obvious because you were saying that he was going to be up out of there soon, and basically he was saying the same thing. Once the changes happened at NXT, he knew that he was going to be out.
Yeah, you just kind of got the feeling that once they started bringing in, once they took over NXT, took it away from Triple H, then his whole cardiac event, you just knew once he had his, because I still believe Triple H had some fight left, but once he had his cardiac event, that was it. The writing was on the wall. Then and I agree with what Vince McMahon and the group did. Take him away. His life is definitely more valuable than trying to run this brand. So just let us take it over. You spend time with the kids, with with Stephanie, get everything together on your end because we're gonna need you.
All right.
So, but yeah, you could just tell the writing was on the wall for Samoa Joe, and it's sad though because when they brought him back, at that time he was in the hottest program in the entire WWE outside of Roman Reigns.
Right.
Yeah, just brought back Samoa Joe to be the enforcer. Karrion Kross provoked him. Now you got the NXT Championship match of Samoa Joe versus Karrion Kross. But in the midst of that, they buried Karrion Kross as the NXT champion. So you could really tell the writing was on the wall.
Right, exactly. Moving on to our next story, we got the location for next year's Day 1 live event is revealed. Now, the inaugural WWE Day 1 event didn't go according to plan, as the Universal Champion Roman Reigns had to pull out of his scheduled match with Brock Lesnar due to him having COVID-19. Now, Dave Meltzer, he reported that the second Day 1 event is scheduled to be on January 1st, 2023 in Atlanta, Georgia at the State Farm Arena. And Meltzer also stated that the reason why WWE is going back to the city for a second time is due to so many tourists being out there visiting the city for New Year's Eve. Can't lie, it's a smart move. Why not have one pay-per-view set that's going to be set in one city every year?
Nah,
You know it's going to be a sold-out show. Especially if they're trying to make this be a big part of the Big Four, so be Big Five. They're trying to build this one to be big. Why not? Y'all did good last year. Let's go back. Hopefully.
I would do. Yeah, I would do that. But here's my bigger question to you: do we have Roman Reigns no show it?
I don't know. That would be a hard question. That's a good one, there. That's a good one.
I think this would be. I would add this into his character.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to have a title match, and it will.
I'm the tribal chief. It's New Year.
Exactly. But I get it. It's a. They're trying to put it in there with the Big Four. I would still have it be like Roman Reigns' opponent would be like a B-level superstar. So you could do Sami Zayn, for example. It could be next year Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn for the Universal Championship, and Roman's no shows the pay-per-view. Sami wins, but Roman retains due to count out. And Roman shows up on SmackDown that following Friday. You guys thought I was gonna show up to Day 1. I'm the tribal chief. I show up when I want to show up.
Right.
So I think that's something that if I was Vince, I would look into more. But that's just me.
Right. Moving on to our next story, Patrick Clark. You remember him?
Yes, I do.
The Velveteen Dream. Now he wants to come back to WWE. Now, in his post on his Instagram story, he shared a message to the company about how he still would love to have a career in WWE. He wrote, now before I read this, I do want to say he wrote some abbreviations that I don't really know what they mean, and some of the things that he wrote, it kind of seemed like it was a mistype, but nevertheless, he would say, despite trashly and unsavory allegations against me that I have beat, I still would like to have a career in the NE, and he added NST. I was never guilty, and I got a lot of hell out of a lot of talent. I'm only 26. LFG, I'm ready to go to the show what it should be. Like I said, I think some of the stuff was typos, some didn't make sense. I don't know what LFG means. I don't know if it's named for Let's Fucking Go or something else. I don't know. But nevertheless, he wanted to try to make a return to WWE. Do you think WWE should make a decision on this or anything? It did say that Triple H kind of addressed it, this situation, though, but I don't know exactly what he said about it.
I think he's going about it wrong. He needs to follow the Cody Rhodes route. Go to the Indies, build your name back up, possibly bring in a new gimmick, but still keep the same mannerisms. Really build yourself back up to become a bigger star, to where you're undeniable, to where they want to bring you back.
Okay.
Don't just go out there. And say you want to go back, because that reeks of desperation.
I agree with you. I agree, totally agree with you. Moving on to our last story of the evening. We got Fox. They originally wanted Raw. Wow. Now WWE, they had signed a big money deal with Fox and NBC Universal for their TV rights for Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. The WWE deal with Fox had started in October of 2019 for SmackDown, while NBC Universal, the parent company of USA Network, had retained the rights to Raw. Now, Dave Meltzer, he reported that Fox originally wanted Raw for years, but SmackDown, they are considered the B show, and Fox, they didn't want the B show. But USA Network, with them being with Raw for so long, they had a right in their contract to refuse any match offers that Fox had made. Now, can you imagine if Raw was on free TV?
Oh,
It don't sound right.
It don't sound right.
It don't sound right.
And then on top of that, what are you gonna do? Put it on Monday at 8:00? Ain't that y'all prime time television slot?
Nah. Monday.
I think
I would say because SmackDown on the 8th, but that's Friday. Yeah, that is true. Monday at 8. That is crazy. But yeah, they probably would. Monday Night Raw. They know that, bro. Monday Night Raw on Fox would probably drag in like $3 million.
You gonna lose a lot of shows.
SmackDown always do a lot of numbers because they're on free TV, and it's an alternative to Raw. But Raw is the money grab. And that shit being on free TV, that'll do numbers.
Yeah, but you're gonna lose a lot of good shows airing that at 8.
It is true.
Like the beauty of like USA, they air a lot of reruns. Chicago PD, Law and Orders. So you don't really lose something when putting Raw there at 8. But when you're looking at Fox, they put on a lot of good shows at that 8:00 at that 8:00 time slot. And those are typically really good shows that they're pushing.
They're like ABC, like they got the NBA Finals, so they able to like say fuck it during like the summertime. They don't pick up no major shows and stuff. They run reruns during that time most likely because the profit of the finals benefit more. So if they pick up a Raw and air it where they will miss out on a lot of shows, the income from Raw being on their programming will bring in more. Don't let them have Raw and SmackDown. Fox will say fuck all them shows. We good. I think both of them respectfully will probably bring in $3-4 million. If they both is on Fox. Woo! Free TV, Raw and SmackDown free TV. That's a money grab right there. It would make people buy Peacock. If you think about it. Raw, you giving Raw and SmackDown free TV. You want to see the premium live events, stop over the Peacock. Why not? Or you build up and all this stuff for free.
Or you could just move Raw to Peacock and then just make motherfuckers grab the Peacock membership to watch Monday Night Raw, keep SmackDown on free television.
Nah, everybody ain't gonna do that.
hey, that ain't my fault. I'm trying to make money.
Hey, the best deal is that Fox deal. Both of them are hey, very good. But that's it, guys. That's it for part 2, and that's it for week 13 of this week of wrestling. Go ahead and let us know what you think about the premium live events that happen. Let us know what you think about the go home shows. Let us know what you think about the news. Follow us on wherever you get your podcast from. Be on the lookout for future videos and everything. Follow us on Fanbase if you want to watch any of our videos that's uncut. We're going to have future interviews over there, everything, so you don't want to miss that out. So go ahead and stop over there. Once again, I'm Camilio Solometer. It's KB the Mark. Simply, be some fucking marks that love sports entertainment.
I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.